What's up, everybody? This is Austin,
And this is Jeff.
and welcome back to another episode of Raw Dawg Wednesday.
Yes, sir. What is this, the last Wednesday of October?
I don't know anymore. I stopped keeping track.
Well, the 30th is Friday, so yes, it
On
is.
the months they don't really matter anymore, do they?
They really don't. Every day, just get up, go to work, make money, come home.
Make a little money.
Yeah. I didn't say make a lot, just said make money. But, anyways, how was your day today, dude?
It's not too bad.
Mm-hmm.
We spent the majority of this week working in a area of town that is notorious for the absolute worst digging in town anywhere. I mean, literally, you dig down a couple inches and you're just hitting rock after rock after rock. And if you've never dug a hole, rocks make it harder. And I'm talking about so Spokane is on like a large, like basalt plain from when like volcanoes and shit used to erupt all the time. But this particular area literally is known for just being it's just solid basalt pretty much. When they build houses out there, they pretty much have to bring out like a excavator with a jackhammer attachment and just jackhammer out rocks for the foundations.
Jesus.
These people don't have basements. But yeah, so been out there, been a little rough getting it done on that fucking grind.
What do you do with all the rocks, man? Do you just toss them aside?
Pretty much. That's up for the homeowner to decide. They're their rocks.
Yeah.
They own those rocks. We don't haul that shit away.
Yeah, fuck that. Uh, I don't know, man. It's getting colder. It's getting a lot colder.
It's funny because up here over the weekend we obviously had a cold snap and it fucking snowed a shit ton. And today I think it almost hit 50 degrees again. I was in a long sleeve shirt just out
Interesting.
working. It's supposed to get warm again this week and then get cold again and we don't know. It's been weird
Yeah.
weather up here so far this fall.
Mother Nature, man. She'll fuck with you.
Yeah, she will.
But... So you telling me about these new graphic cards? You want to drop a little?
Oh, you actually do want to talk tech with me for
I
once.
just no, I don't want to talk about your computer. I want to talk about the announcement about the graphics cards that were made.
All right. For all of you, any of you that care or any of you that are curious, obviously me and Jeff are, PC guys now. Me more so, but Jeff at least kind of understands the lingo and, the components and stuff and is interested in this kind of stuff. But
Mm-hmm.
for those of you that don't know, there are three, big players in like the CPU and GPU market for consumers. You have Intel, been around for a long time, well established. They make good stuff, but
Is that Bill Gates? Yeah.
no, no,
No,
that's
that's Microsoft.
Microsoft. Yeah,
Who
Intel's a
makes it?
different thing.
Who owns Intel?
I
I
don't know who.
almost swore Bill Gates owns Intel.
No,
I'm
I
looking
don't.
it up.
Fine,
Continue
look it
with your
up.
story.
But you have Intel. They make good CPUs, but they're generally on the more expensive side of the spectrum, right? They're not usually budget friendly. And then um, you have AMD, Advanced Micro Devices, and they make CPUs and GPUs. And for a long time, they were kind of, the little brother in the market where their stuff was decent, but not at all at the level of what Intel was doing. And I don't know their full company history, but when AMD launched their Ryzen series processors,
Mm-hmm.
that's when they actually started to really catch up to Intel in terms of performance. And kind of what Intel does is their CPUs, pretty much across the board have higher clock speeds on the cores, but less cores. So like I have an i9 9900K. I have 8 cores that are they're overclocked to all run at 5 gigahertz, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Ryzen CPUs, they are just cramming a lot more cores into their CPUs. So really, Intel with their higher clock speed is kind of, the better choice for gaming, and then AMD is the better choice for like content creation, rendering, stuff like that, because these different
Gotcha.
types of things benefit from different like, you know, things in the CPU, clock speed versus core count. But AMD's run at a lower clock speed across the board because it would take way more power and generate way more heat to run all those cores at a higher clock speed. So they just kind of don't. But like a week or two ago, AMD announced their new generation of CPUs, the Zen 3 architecture. So it's going to be like the Ryzen 5000 series. And from all the marketing material, I don't believe that any like independent reviewers have any chips yet, like in their possession. But from all the marketing, apparently the Ryzen 5000 series is going to kick the shit out of anything Intel has out right now, just across the board.
What do you think about that?
But a lot of AMD fans are mad because now AMD is pretty much just as expensive as Intel to provide that performance. Like they're no longer like the super budget friendly, like, much lower price for noticeably more performance. It's kind of a, performance per dollar type of thing. They've kind of lost that, but they are giving better performance. I run an Intel system, obviously. I've literally every computer I've owned for as long as I know has been Intel because they just have a huge market share. They make a lot of CPUs and they put them in a lot of computers. So I was, at the time of building mine, I was familiar with how the Intel ranking system worked, right? Like for your average everyday consumer, you have the, core series, the i3, i5, i7, i9. It's a pretty basic, structure to that. And then they have their like after like the 9900K means it's like the ninth generation of the i9, or it's a ninth generation architecture, whatever. It's kind of been the same for a long time, but so I understood all that, and I knew literally nothing about AMD. So if you're any of you are like AMD fanboys, oh you fucking idiot, why didn't you get a fucking Ryzen system, you retard? It's like, bro, chill out. It doesn't matter. It's I spend my money how I want to. I knew about Intel. I knew that the system I built beforehand was upgradable. And the stuff I did read about Ryzen kind of scared me off because, like, oh, driver issues, BIOS updates for your motherboard. Like if you have to have like an older generation CPU to put into the motherboard to update the BIOS to then use a new one, it seemed like more trouble than it was worth at the time. But
Gotcha.
today, AMD just had their keynote for their new graphics card line, it's their GPU. And again, this is all marketing. No one has these cards, so there's no like independent benchmarking. But again, it seems like now AMD is going to kick the shit out of Nvidia, who is kind of the current king of the graphics card market.
Mm-hmm.
I have an Nvidia graphics card in my system. It's a 2070 Super Founders Edition. It's very pretty. It's definitely not the reason I bought it, but it's a bonus.
I guess we'll have to wait and see, you know? Don't really know. Don't really know until the stats come out on everything. Everybody starts running these things.
You have to wait until the independent reviewers get them and start running their benchmarks because, the way that computer components work, if you don't know, every single component, like every single CPU from the same exact line can run differently. It's just down to like the quality of the silicon that it's made out of. It's kind of this thing called the silicon lottery. It's like you can win it and like your chip performs really, really, really well, like more so than other ones that are the exact same thing, or you can lose it and then you kind of get a lemon. So obviously when they're doing this testing, they're probably taking the ones that are performing the highest out of any of them. Like they're obviously going to test several of them. So, the marketing that you're seeing is probably the best of their best, and not everyone's going to have the same experience. But the bottom line is competition between these big companies only benefits the consumer because it either, if one of them starts to offer something that's great performance at a great price. The other one either has to offer something better performance or lower price, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's how you get people to buy your stuff. So the competition, now that AMD is neck and neck with Intel, allegedly, and Nvidia, allegedly, it only forces those two to get better to compete.
I like the fact that they're stepping up, but at the same time, I feel like when you pull yourself out of your own market, like they were in their own specific market, you were saying they're more of a budget brand. When you
It's
try and
not, well, no, it's not that they're a budget brand, but if you look at the products that were kind of a direct comparison,
mm-hmm,
like take an i5 versus a Ryzen 5.
mm-hmm,
For a long time, across the board, the Ryzen 5 offering pretty identical performance was a little bit cheaper,
mm-hmm.
right? So it's not that they're like a budget brand. No, AMD manufactures a very high-end CPU line called Threadripper. And let me just check a price real quick on like the 3990X.
Okay. Well, let me finish my thought then. I
Almost
wasn't necessarily
$4,000 for the chip.
it's pretty crazy. I wasn't necessarily calling them a budget brand. I was just saying obviously they're a little bit more budget friendly. And a lot of times I'd probably say a majority of the people that when they go to spend money on something, they're looking to save a little bit, you know? So when they take themselves out of that category and they try and bump up and they do go for the performance, then you're going to lose quite a bit of your audience. So
We'll see. Honestly, if you go on to like Reddit or other forums, it's just a bunch of fucking fanboys fighting, between each other when the bulk of consumers don't really care. Because at the end of the day, people just want to buy what's, right for them.
Mm-hmm.
And if it works, then they're happy.
It's true.
Like, I upgraded from an i5 to an i9. Why? Well, I wanted some better performance out of my CPU, and I was going to do, more things with it, processing video for the live stream or for the podcast. And then I wanted to do live streaming on Twitch, which it helps with. And, I'm perfectly happy with my system. So anyone who says, why didn't you get a Ryzen 9?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I didn't want to change my whole motherboard out, and then to have a motherboard compatible with Ryzen. I was just literally able to pop out my i5, pop the i9 in, and it was good to go. And that was it.
Yeah.
It worked for me. And you know what? If you want a Ryzen 9 and that's what you feel is the best for you, then just buy one. It's weird because as a person who has an Intel system, people just want to argue with me about it for just completely unprovoked.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, what do you care how I spend my money? Like, It's not like the money that I saved by buying a Ryzen I was going to give to you. So fuck off. I know we don't have a large enough audience yet for a lot of people to come into the comments and start yelling at me. But if you feel that, just fuck off.
What was I going to say? I was going to say, you've been so aggressive our last couple of podcasts. I don't know. You just feel some aggression from Austin.
It's just
a lot of fuck offs.
The Raw Dawg Wednesdays is really where I come to rant and get shit off my chest, off my mind.
Mm-hmm.
It's a really nice outlet. It feels good.
I see.
The other outlet
we're gonna start calling it fucking Therapy Wednesdays, Therapy Thursdays. We should get Therapy Thursdays, and Austin can just rant on Thursday.
Can
I
take back our Raw Dawg Wednesday. Scream.
Mm-hmm.
My other form of letting out my frustrations is playing my VR Blade and Sorcery.
Mm-hmm.
That is a vicious, brutal game, and I love it.
Well, anyways, I feel like I let you rant. I mean, I brought it
ranting?
up. I brought it up. I brought it up to discuss. I brought it up to discuss, and I feel like you went above and beyond, giving us great info. But you didn't really let me chime in a ton.
Go ahead. Let me hear your thoughts on it.
I already tried to give you my thoughts.
See, you're just approaching it from a business perspective because you have a business degree and that's what you understand. And, I come from more of the tech perspective. So
Hmm.
there's not much for us to, you've given yours and I've given mine, and it is what it is. We'll have to wait and see, you know.
Yeah, I guess it's. I mean, there's not a ton to discuss until it really comes out. It's just speculation at this point.
The
But
hype is real, though.
the hype is real.
The hype this year for, AMD, who's largely known as the underdog, to really, come from behind and
Hmm.
score big wins across the board. It's exciting for a lot of people. I
Oh
don't
yeah.
care either way because guess what? I have years of use out of my system. It'll be 2 or 3 more generations until I'm going to need any kind of upgrade. So it doesn't
Hmm.
affect me. Would I like a 3070? Sure. Am I going to get one? No way. That actually releases tomorrow and they're going to sell out immediately.
Happens. Um, I've actually been looking into buying a laptop, but my sister's been kind enough to let me use her Mac to record, so that's super nice. But dude, I can't believe we were looking into the prices of the Mac computers, the laptops, and it was like $2,500 for a laptop. It's fucking insane.
Well, do you remember when I said, have you looked at the Mac Pro fully spec'd out at about 50 grand? You're like, dude, there's no fucking way it's 50 grand. And I
Yeah,
spec'd it out and it came out to like 48,000 something.
it's fucking insane, dude.
I only remember that because a bunch of people were making memes of it when it announced.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, oh, I could buy a new car or a Mac Pro.
You could buy two new cars with a Mac Pro.
I mean, yeah, not nice cars.
You telling me you can't get a nice car for $25,000?
Well, yeah, but that's not where the comparison was. Like you could get you can get a Mercedes or a BMW for the price of a Mac.
Okay,
Yeah, you can
there you
get
go.
you can
It's a
get
better
three,
comparison.
four, Kias or fucking
Don't
whatever.
shit on Kia. They're coming up. They're doing exactly what AMD did, bro.
I didn't say there's anything wrong. I just know you can get a cheap fucking Kia.
Yeah, you can. You can also get a pretty cheap. Uh, I think you can get some pretty stock Mercedes and BMWs. Mercedes, I know
You
they
can get a
make.
Mercedes for 30 grand. I know that.
Yeah,
Brand new. We
but
actually have a neighbor who parks right next to us who has a Mercedes, and it's like
hmm dude,
I
but
would I
Kia's
would
doing the
honestly
same thing.
save up to move out of an apartment, but whatever.
Kia's doing the same thing as AMD, dude. They're starting to make some serious competition in the luxury car industry, luxury and sport car industry. I don't know if you've seen their Kia Stinger.
I have actually.
Kia Stinger GT2, man. It's got like 400 horsepower. It's pretty insane.
I'm really glad you brought up cars because something has been announced that I've been talking about for months, somewhat jokingly, but is
Mhm.
now a real thing. And it's something that I want very badly that I'll never be able to attain.
Okay.
They're making a fully electric Hummer.
Oh, I saw that. What do they call it? The super something? The
They
super
keep calling it like a Hummer electric super truck or something. I don't know
super
what the
truck.
official name is, but god damn it, I want one.
Yeah, I keep seeing. I don't see a ton of commercials, but I have been watching a little bit of football lately, and they keep bringing this stupid fucking super truck up. They're like, "Go claim your super truck at Hummer.com."
I think it starts at 112,000.
Holy fuck!
So I could take out a mortgage to get one
Hmm.
and then live in it.
Or you could get two fully dosed out MacBook Pros.
I could, and I could have a little extra
Hmm.
to buy a tent with it.
Little spending money,
A nice
dude.
tent.
How dope do you think that electric Hummer is, though?
I
You
think
think
it's
it's fast as fuck?
awesome. Yeah, they said like 0 to 60 in 3 seconds.
Oh my god,
Electric vehicles are just fucking quick.
true. How terrifying is a electric semi truck though? Not even hear it coming.
I guess if that's your definition of terrifying, sounds like a peaceful death to me.
Yeah, I mean, definitely peaceful, but depends. I don't know. I feel like some things shouldn't be silent.
Should they put Oh, have you ever gone into like AutoZone or, just maybe the automotive department of like a department store and you see some of like those real like gimmicky stupid items that people buy?
Hmm.
Have you seen the deer whistles?
No.
So there are these little like cone things that you like stick onto your hood with like a fucking, double-sided tape strip.
Mm-hmm.
And it's supposed to like it advertises like, oh, it makes a whistle that makes the deer run away from your car or whatever, so you don't hit deer.
Okay.
Just sounds like total bullshit, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
a dog whistle, but for deer essentially. And for $3.99, I highly doubt they're that effective. Especially considering the amount of dead deer I've seen on the side of the road the last couple of days here.
Considering all the whistles are still in stock and none have been bought.
Yeah. Can you imagine being a deer and like you're standing on the side of the road
Mm-hmm.
and you just like you hear some sound, you just look up, you're gonna be like, the fuck is that? Like, unless it's gonna sound like you might as well play a coyote call or something. That'll send them running.
Yeah.
But just a whistle. We have this little like anti-bark thing, right? It's like, oh, it detects a bark and it sends like a ultrasonic frequency that just annoys your dog so they stop.
Mm-hmm.
If I like go out and push the button on it, they just kind of like look at me. They're like, "The hell was that?" It doesn't like really bother them. So how would that same thing apply to deer on a
Yeah.
car?
I don't know. Fuck. How about a deer bridge, man? Like the deer bridges that they make in like on I-80 and stuff.
Oh,
Have you
they
ever
have
seen
them up
those?
here too on I-90. It's funny. I've actually seen like news reports where it's like, that super grainy, like foot camera feed from, like a highway camera.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, look, one deer is using the bridge for the first time in 6 years since it was constructed. It's
Yeah.
like, our $5 million wasn't wasted.
I don't fucking get it. They
Oh
spend loads of
boy.
money to make this fucking bridge, this deer bridge that goes over this 2-lane highway in one specific part of absolutely in the middle of nowhere. But the deer have tons of other mileage to decide to cross the road. But what makes them think that the fucking deer are going to go over the bridge?
I'm I'm sure that they spend millions of dollars in research and development,
Mm-hmm.
with like biologists, and they're like flying around in helicopters, monitoring deer herds to see where they're trying to cross the highway.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like I've seen a deer cross the road anywhere that they happen to be at the road. I had a burp. Don't look at me like that.
Scared me for a second there.
I'm trying not to burp right into the microphone. I have some standards.
How nice of you. You yell at the kind people of the podcast, but you refuse to burp in the microphone.
You
Love
know
it.
what? They come here for my special blend of punishment.
Oh God. So I bought something dumb at the store, kind of like a deer whistle. I bought a air freshener that doubles as a Hula Girl.
Oh my God.
I stuck it to the fucking middle of my dash. Super fun. It fucking squiggles around every time I drive. It's kind of fun.
I bet it does. I hate when things are on the dash of any
Mhm.
car. Like if I can see the reflection of something in the windshield that's on the dash, it just pisses me off.
Really?
And this, yeah, like I like so obviously I have glasses, right?
Hmm.
And these things get scratched, they get dirty, and they have glare on them when I drive. If you have a dirty windshield, that just doubles the amount of glare that I see. And then if you have shit reflecting up into it, so I'm looking at, something else while I'm double glared, it just makes it really hard for me to drive. This is
Makes sense.
especially true in my work truck at work. People will get in the work truck, especially this time of year where there's like snow and it's muddy. They'll take like their wet, muddy gloves, throw them up against my windshield, like the inside of the windshield, to then land on the dash, hoping that they'll get dried off by the
The vent.
defrost.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I'll have fucking dirty glove marks all over the inside of my windshield, and then people's fucking gloves and paperwork, and people put cans like snack bags, and just my whole dash will be covered in shit. Like I'll get in the truck, like look at them, look at it, and I'll just literally just slide all of it off. Don't put shit on my fucking dashboard.
Love it. That's so funny, dude. It's gotta be, uh, it's gotta be irritating. But yeah, I don't really notice the Hula Girl unless I'm looking like straight at it. Usually, I don't know, just kind of. just kind of there. And when I need to, just give it a little bobble.
Is that your friend?
Yeah. Oh, I've decided to name. I think I'm gonna name her Grace.
Grace, huh?
Yeah, I didn't
What
want
a
to go.
fitting Hawaiian name.
I didn't. Is it a Hawaiian? Is Grace a
No, I
Hawaiian name?
have no fucking clue. I'm just fucking with you.
Well, I feel like if I would have said like Kalani or something like that, you'd be like, "There you go, Jeff again with the stereotypical fucking bullshit," and I'd have to fucking. I was like, "No, I will not entertain Austin's bullshit. I'm not. I'm naming her something super. I don't know,
Generic.
non-Hawaiian. Yeah, super generic.
Listen, Graces of the world, you can be a Grace in any nationality. It's okay.
Hmm. Yeah, it had a. I bought a couple of them because I was you know giving them out to people and shit. Just for fun. And I opened it up. Well, I was gonna buy like a shit ton of them because it was at like the super cheap grocery outlet store, and I was like, "Fuck, dude, I could buy all of these right now." And I just got three because I was like, "What happens if I buy all of these and I open it and it smells like shit? I'm gonna be pissed." So I get in my car. I can't wait. I get the fucking Smith and Wesson knife that you gave me, the
Oh my
M&P.
god.
I
You
open
still
up the
have that?
fucking open up the Hula Girl and I'm like, fuck. It doesn't smell terrible, but it's not the Hawaiian smell that I wanted?
What were you expecting? Like pina colada?
No, I was hoping for like a coconutty, I guess pina colada, but this was like I wanted like an upper class pina colada. Not even an upper class pina colada. I wanted a classy pina colada. So I guess fuck. I just didn't want to
You didn't want
I
fucking
didn't
grocery outlet store fucking
pina colada. I didn't
yeah.
want trailer trash pina colada. That's what I didn't want, and that's what I got. So
Yeah, you bought a fucking Hula Girl for your dashboard. What did
hey,
you expect?
I'll tell you what though. The scent was gone within a day, so I'm solid. Thank God it was so cheap that the scent didn't stay around. So I don't know.
My wife asked me an interesting question about naming things.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, I said something about like, oh, the PC's a part of the family now. And she's like, oh, yeah? What'd you name it? I'm like, ah, shit, I haven't named it yet. So I'm sitting there looking at it. It's all blued out. Everything that can be blue in terms of like the lighting is blue.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, oh man, I bet there's a bunch of, cool ways, to say blue. You've got like azure, cobalt, uh,
The fuck is Azure?
azure, whatever. It's a shade of blue. Fuck you.
Cyan.
Yeah, cyan. That's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say cyan to piss you off, but cyan's not the color that it is. So I'm sitting there. I'm like, oh, sapphire. And my wife just like fucking gives me like that little side eye look.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what? And she's like, nothing. And I realized that's a fucking stripper name. My PC will not have a stripper name.
I
If
think
your
your
name is
PC should.
Sapphire out there, I'm sorry, but you
What's your
kind of have a
real
stripper
name?
name.
Not your stripper name. What the fuck is that song? I
It's
can't
Lil
remember who
Wayne. I
sings
know
it.
that, but I don't,
Lil
it's Lil
Wayne's
Wayne.
like, he's like trying to like discuss with this stripper. She's like, "What's your real name? Not your stripper name."
So yeah,
But,
PC is still unnamed as of that development. If you have
hmm.
any good suggestions for uh, something related to blue,
Kaylani.
I
She
said
give you,
blue, not Hawaiian.
yeah, blue Hawaiian, bro. There you go.
You don't understand me.
I don't know. Something blue. You'll have to rain check that one.
Yeah.
But dude, I was out here. I like to go for a walk on our little fucking nice path out here to detox after work. Um, just go out and outside, get some fresh air and whatnot. I'm walking peacefully. I've got my sandals on, got my socks and my sandals, fucking cruising down wearing some shorts and a long sleeve tee like I normally do. That stupid fucking construction Green Day landscape long sleeve T-shirt that I always wear.
Classic Jeff look.
Classic. And I'm walking peacefully, and fucking this guy out of nowhere is sitting on a fucking bench over here, yells at me, "Hey, hey, you know Trump's gonna win, right?" And I looked at him and I was like, "The fuck?" I was like, "What?" And like I kept walking, and he's like, "Hey, you know Trump's gonna win, right?" And there's literally no one around, dude. It's just me, and I'm like, "Fuck me, dude." Because if I don't say anything, he's gonna just like continue. Like he was like thinking about getting up to like continue to like harassing me. Not harassing, but like
That sounds pretty fucking harassing.
it was. Yeah,
That's like pulling a taser out level harassing. Which, by the way,
like,
it's still Shocktober. I still got time.
Shocktober, Sigtember. But I looked at him and I was like, maybe. And he was like, "What do you mean maybe?" I was like, it's a presidential race, dog. They still have to have the fucking election.
Yeah, nothing is ever certain, as we found out in 2016.
Yeah. I was like, he's like, "Whoa." And then he just goes into this like rant about fucking politics. And I'm already like 50 meters away, just walking away while he continues to discuss politics. I'm like, dude, what the fuck? What makes you just shout stuff like that at people?
I don't know. Being a Trump supporter in fucking California might do it.
Probably.
Guy feels alienated.
He probably thought I was like a super liberal and wanted to like piss me off or something. But I'm so like just unaffected by everything. I feel like I was just like, okay.
If someone did that to me, I wouldn't be pissed off at them because of the politics part.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be pissed off because some random motherfucking person tried to yell at me in public.
Yeah.
It's like, don't approach me.
Oh, you know what's funny?
Tased.
I left out a completely like relevant part. He was rolling a joint while he was yelling at me. I was like, this motherfucker, he's about to get high as shit. He's probably going to debate politics with himself. But anyways, I feel like we said we would never talk about politics, but we didn't really.
We're not talking about politics. Yeah. We're talking about some dickhead fucking screaming about politics who probably should have been tased
over bullshit. But anyways, that's a nice way to wrap up the episode. I think we'll cut it there, and catch us Sunday. Yeah.
Oh yeah, every time. We're not stopping. We're not fucking leaving.
We're not fucking leaving. What are you, an Al Jordan? Who? Huh? We're not stopping. But all right, catch us Sunday. Later, everybody.
Later, guys.